It's good to talk to you again. I spoke to you just right when the Helix album was about to come out. How did that album go for you?
Oh, but it went great. It was very well received, and it was very inspiring to see the, response, since we were like talking about this chorus stuff, sound-wise, and like the DNA of Amaranth, and etc., etc. And that kind of led us to the manifest, which is like now we're manifesting what the core is. So it was a very important album to us, and it was awesome like to have that in our back, since that was Nils's first album, and we just like now we felt so much more confident. Everything was in place, and the Helix was a very good, so to speak, like beginning of what's happening now. So it's we're very happy about it.
How did you go with lockdown? Did it affect the recording at all? Were you already done? Were you in different cities? Did you all manage to get together? How did it work?
Yeah, well, we had booked the studio with Jacob Hansen in Denmark like a while ago. And 2 days before we were supposed to go there, we got a message from Morten, our drummer, who lives in Denmark, saying that tomorrow they're going to close the borders at 12 and they will not allow anyone anymore. So me and Olaf, we had to pack our bags. We stayed up all night and we took the first train in the morning and headed over to Denmark, which was a very strange experience. It was like a zombie land. Like there was nobody. It was only the two of us traveling that direction, because obviously everybody else was leaving to go home, We were going in and they were like, what are you guys doing? You know that they closed the borders, right? And we're like, yes, that's why we're, heading this way, because we're going to the studio recording an album. They were like, it was just so weird. And then Olaf had planned to go back to Gothenburg and record his guitars there, but obviously we couldn't cross the borders. So we rescheduled and we recorded the guitars in Denmark instead. Johan could not come over, so he recorded his bass in Finland with Jonas Parkkonen, and I think they turned out great, by the way. So This is probably something we will continue with. Like speaking about, good things happening also in these kind of situations where you have to do something that you didn't plan. Mm-hmm. And Nils and Henrik, we weren't certain if they could make it, but they were able to make it because they came later, and then the governments had started to speak more about, if there is work to do, then it's fine, as long as you keep a mask and you keep distance and all this kind of stuff. So it was a battle, and also we couldn't invite guests, obviously. Like usually we have friends coming over because we stayed there for 2.5 months. And also it was like only on the last 3 days or so that Olaf's wife could, come over. So I think it affected us very much emotionally, actually, which probably shows in the album.
So how did you get Nora in then? Or was that done?
Oh, we didn't get her in. She was recording in Finland. And this is something I, of course, maybe regret the most, because it would have been awesome to make the recordings with her in the same room. But it had to be done like that. On the other hand, because of the COVID, we knew that people didn't have any tours, so everybody was available, and therefore we could invite extra many guests.
That's a win.
Yes. I mean, usually everybody's not home, so nobody's, has the time to do anything. But now we knew everybody was just sitting at home, so we're like, hey, do you want to join the album? It was very easy in that sense. So we really took the opportunities that were given.
Tell me about the song Viral. When was that written? And was that just a bizarre coincidence, or?
It was a bizarre coincidence in one way, because Olaf did the riff at home before we went to the studio, and I was writing the vocal melodies to that. And the title was already made up, but it was also, to me, it was a little bit hard to write a melody and lyrics around a word viral. So I was like, how can you make that sound cool, But then like we were in the studio and we were in the Corona crisis, and we just, you know, thought that why not just take the opportunity and like use this song to make it about the current situation. And then all the lyrics and the vocal melodies, they just came very easily, inspired by that very situation we were in. So,
is there more harsh vocals on this album, or is that my imagination?
oh, that's a very good question. I don't think it is more.
Well, it's just my imagination playing tricks on me there.
Yes.
Has the current situation pushed back release date at all? And what are the plans?
Okay, so this is the case. If I will be 100% honest, the release date for the album was always planned on October 2nd. But then we were going on a United States tour, and we wanted to have the album out with the song with Nora, for example, so that we could, you know, play these songs live on that very tour. We were asking to release it earlier than planned. And also for me, of course, that was awesome because we released every single album in October. So I was like, yay, finally we're releasing an album in some other month, like August. But then, yes, the tour got canceled, and then there wasn't no reason to like put the release earlier. So then it went back to the original planned date, which was 2nd of October. And yeah, so now we're back in October, like same as always, but yeah.
How is the situation opening up for bands over there for actually playing again? Because I've seen some gigs advertised and some people playing gigs in like drive-in theatres, but sort of, you know, open air with people congregated like sheep in little pens. How is the situation going? When can you tour?
Good question. Yeah, I heard about it as well. Like over in the United States, that they had this drive in, I think also in Germany actually.
Doro did one, I think.
Yes, you're right. And also Beyond the Black that we were supposed to tour with, or we will tour in April if we are allowed to. And that's the thing that we plan so far touring wise. In Sweden, we can be now up to 500 people in the same event. Yeah, like for us, Amaranth, at least anyways, we have only planned to do the tour starting in April. And it's going to be big venues all over Europe. So, I mean, of course, the more the time goes and the closer you get to that the more nervous you get.
Now, some bands are doing the live stream thing. There's three happening this weekend that I know of. Any plans for Amaranthe to do that?
We have discussed it, and the only thing that we are, you know, we're discussing, and we think it's maybe a little bit unfair, is that we want to play the new songs from the new album in front of an audience when we do it the first time. So we don't, you know, because we want the instant feedback, and we will not get that if we're making a live stream. And also maybe we would love to have that kind of organic reaction, since it's the first time we play these songs. And of course we could do a live stream where we play only old songs, but I don't know, it's hard, it's tricky. But I think we are very addicted to the audience and dependent on the audience. I say maybe on that question. We will maybe do it before the year is over, or maybe not. But it depends on what the fans want. We also want to know what people expect. I mean, I think it's kind of nice to put out music videos, like real music videos with new songs, and that's probably more fair presentation of the new album instead of us like sitting in an empty venue playing our music. But let's see.
I'm going stir crazy sitting at home, not being able to go to gigs, and I'm sure you must be as well, because that is your outlet. How much of an effect has it had on you? Have you managed to keep yourself busy and sort of get through it?
Well, luckily, because of this album coming out, we have been very busy. And we have been, we talk every day to our management or record label, who is now actually they have time for us, which is not the case if they would have some other releases planned. They wouldn't speak to us every day, you know. So we're kind of lucky in that sense. And yeah, like most bands, we could have delayed the release until next year if we would think it's, that important to be able to play shows immediately. But we actually wanted to release the album now. And yeah, all this, like I said, the music video recordings, the interviews, they wouldn't have happened if it wasn't because of the album coming out. So I am happy that, yes, we are busy, not in the same sense, but still your brain is like activated and focusing still on the music, like always. So I'm not sure, like after October, maybe if we would talk then, towards like December or something, maybe I will be in a different state of mind.
So we've got Manifest coming out October 2nd. I like the album. I really like it. I tell you my favourite tracks, and that is Fearless,
Yay!
Adrenaline,
Yay!
and Do or Die.
Awesome.
What stories can you tell us about any of these songs? Can you elaborate on anything?
Sure. Well, Fearless has an obvious message. It's a great thing to be fearless, and we want to like inspire people with this song. And this is what I also believe that we have been. And the track is like, yes, very up tempo, and I love the song as well, actually, if I'm allowed to say that about
Of course you are. Of course you are.
And also then Adrenaline, I think it's also very similar to Fearless, where we want to present a feeling of something, and it's a dedication to people who feels this way about maybe some other person in their life, or for me are the fans when you're going on the stage or in a live show. That's also something that gives us adrenaline, and that's like a dedication to that feeling. That's one of the things I actually personally love the most. It's a little bit like Toto inspired, which would be super weird if you compare the Toto with Amaranthe. It's not too many similarities, but it has an interesting touch to it, I guess. And yeah, it's probably one of the most charming songs we ever written. Like, it's kind of cute, actually. That's why I think it's nice that you like it.
I'll have to listen for the Toto influence.
And then the Do or Die, of course, it's about, how we felt about the environmental situation. Fires, the viruses now, also on top of that, which we weren't aware of that this situation was coming when we first released the song. It's also like a statement in a way, showing the fans that we do really care about these things. And it's a very nice being an artist and being able to give your perspective on the situation.
How's Nils fitting in now? Because he hadn't been in the band very long when Helix came out. How's he going now?
3 years work together now, and 2.5. So yeah, of course that makes a big difference. I remember that I was actually really nervous because I didn't know what to expect from Nils on an album with Amaranthe songs. So that was like, I mean, these are the things that you naturally wouldn't want to feel any worries about while writing and recording an album. And of course, this is now the case with the Manifest, that we have gotten to know Nils very well, both in the studio and outside. And I mean, I've heard his voice in my in-ears live, I would say almost every day for 2 years. So it was very nice to just like basically feel like where he sounds the best, and have that kind of confidence while writing the songs. So that was really important.
Amaranthe have got the most amazing vocal dynamic going, because you've got 3 completely different sounding vocalists all somehow working together. I suppose you don't know how you've managed to pull that off, but can you throw any light on that?
From my perspective, like I've already mentioned before, that I am very, I let the feelings decide. I let my emotional intelligence decide everything, and not so much, other kind of thoughts. And it's like you just feel when you want that kind of voice. I guess that's the answer to the question. That if the song decides, or you decide where you want the song to go, and then you put the vocalists in where you feel like you want the most of the topic. You want the most out of the topic. So if there is something or a part in the song where you just feel like you need something new to kick in every time, that's when we change around things. And some songs actually don't allow these changes, and that's why we also decide to have some songs where it's more or less the same vocalist leading this track. So yeah.
Elize, thanks so much for talking to me. Best of luck with Manifest coming out on October 2nd, and we hope that you get out on the road soon and have a great time there and do well.
Oh, thank you so much. I wish you the same, and I hope that you can do your little trip out through Europe and all these awesome festivals with your wife next year.
Maybe next year. Thanks for your time.